There was a lot of controversy in this fight. If you've been following any of the forums or watched any of the recaps, you may know that the fight was actually initially stopped because Mike Rodriguez had kneed Ed Herman into the lower gut, right above his cup area,
But a
and
very like clean hit, not even below the belt, even all the way above the belt.
a very, very clean hit. He was actually dominating the fight up until that point pretty heavily. Ed
Hmm.
Herman takes a knee to the ground because it hurts so bad in his gut, which can happen. I don't know if it hit his
I
liver.
understand.
Yeah, like that happens. But in that moment, it looked like that was going to be the end of the fight. It was going to be a KO. The ref steps in and says time. You hear Mike Slow Rodriguez go, time? What the hell? I just KO'd this dude. Why are you calling time?
The
Walks
referee
off.
said nuts.
Nuts, exactly. Well, that's all he saw. That's all he was looking for. It was unfortunate. I saw it again, and it looked like the ref was behind Mike Rodriguez. He could not have seen the hit. It just seemed like based off the reaction, instinctually, he's like, "Wait, it must have been hit to the cup." Um, so from there, Ed was given the full 5 minutes. He definitely faked it. He acted his way to the full 5 minutes. He walked around, got his composure back. He's a veteran fighter. Got some of the conditioning back because he looked extremely tired. Was actually able to submit Mike Rodriguez, I believe, the next round in the
In
third
the
round of
third
the
round.
fight.
Right.
And this all around was a big shame. Mike Rodriguez definitely deserved the victory. I heard Dana White actually gave him the full winning prize purse after the fight because he said it's actually one of the worst reffing mistakes he's ever seen. I want to say something about being able to use replays, but do you have any thoughts you want to share on this?
No, I was gonna say yeah, but Dana White looked at it, and I think I think Dana White and the matchmakers are gonna look at Mike Rodriguez favorably still. He's
Yeah.
been performing a lot this year. I hope to can see him fighting even sooner, considering he did dominate this fight and do pretty well.
Yeah, and he seems like he's going to be one of those names that's going to be a top contender, if not the second in a few months, maybe a few years. So the fact that this kind of took him back a notch is just a big shame. If you'd watched the fight, you would know like he was completely dominating. And if you give a guy 5 minutes to recover, it's basically starting a new fight.
Right.
So the point I wanted to make with the replays is why can't they have, let's say, a 10-15 second review period? You don't have to completely stop the fight. We don't have to pause everything for a lengthy period of time, which is what they're worried about. Why can't we just take 10-15 seconds? The ref looks up at the board. He can see the replay once or twice and really get a good eye of what actually happened in the situation. It was a complete misstep, and if there had been a way to reverse his call, the fight, in my opinion, would have been completely different. He would have gotten the KO. Do you think there's place in MMA to have a replay system if it's very concise, very short, to the point, the refs can just look up and see what happened? Or do you think for some reason it's a hindrance?
I mean, I honestly think they should use it more. And if the worry is that they're gonna stop the fight and make it like, take time and breaks to look at every replay, I think we just make it so that every time the referee stops the time, like for a timeout or for a cup hit or anything like that, why not just do a quick verification? While the fighters are recovering already anyway, just to not add to the time. Like I feel like there's already plenty of time. Ed Herman spent probably the entirety of the 5 minutes, or at least close to it, on recovering from the clean hit.
And the ref probably saw he made the mistake instantly. But what do you do? You cannot revert a call like that as it stands. So he probably knew he had fucked up big time in the moment. But when you instinctually make a call, you can't really go back on it. So in this situation, it's very tough. But
Mm-hmm.
this isn't like the NFL. You don't have to go to the sidelines. You don't have to have 10 referees looking at different angles. Sure, some of the things are very slight. But if you're going to be hitting the groin, it's pretty easy to tell whether you got hit in the groin. If you're poked in the eye, it's pretty easy to tell. If you grab the cage and weren't taken down for that reason, it's pretty easy to tell. So these are things that I feel can be worked through very, very quickly and wouldn't be a big hindrance on the fight in general.
Another thing they can implement is a lot of other sports they do like replay judges. There's a second referee that is just his only job is to look at replays and watch film to see if like something distinctly got wrong, so he can call into the referees on the ground.
Yeah, I like
There's
that
all
too.
sorts of ways, and also I understand Mike Tyone made a really bad mistake, and a lot of controversy and a lot of repercussions from it clearly. But I mean, what can you do? Like you said, like it's not like the referee has the mechanism to reverse his call. How much is it on him, and how much is it on the system that he works in and is allowed to operate? Right?
And like you do have to kind of feel sorry for the dude because is he going to get booked for another event? Like probably not
Right.
with the UFC. And this dude's worked his whole career, whatever he's done in the regional circuit, whatever he's done in the UFC. And he had one moment where, you know, just a lapse in judgment cost him the whole thing, when there should be systems in place to stop something like this. So overall, this fight was just a big shame. It looked like he was Slow was about to get the KO. I was really happy for him. I was rooting for him. Ed Herman, though, you got to give him credit. He didn't give up. He stuck through it. He used the time he was given, and he was able to, on the ground, manipulate him and get the submission at the end of the day. So you got to give him credit as well.
I mean, as a fighter, I don't think it's your job to keep the fight fair.
Yeah.
You're going to do everything in your arsenal. Of course, you're not going to try to do foul play and stuff like that. But whatever opportunities you're given to, you know, express like advantage in the octagon, I think they're going to do it. So I think Ed Herman capitalized on the opportunity given to him, and very impressively got that KO against an opponent who, like, technically, you know, beat him like momentarily before.
Yep. Talk about the controversy in Bellator with the cup check, aka dick kicks. I think it was like 3 separate fights where it happened, and I believe 2 fights got stopped from it, which is very rare.
Mm-hmm. The first to happen to Bellator was on the prelim, actually, of the Davis Machida card. It was between Tyrell Fortune and Jack May, 2 heavyweights. So Jack May's like 6'8", Tyrell Fortune's maybe like 5'2", I think. Yeah, 5'2". So Tyrell Fortune threw a knee that connects on normal sized people in the belly. I think because Jack May's an extra 6 inches taller, it got him right on the cup and crumpled him.
It was so
scream.
bad.
It was not fun to watch.
When you don't have fans and you're hearing these guys yell in pain after being hit, it's so cringy. And he had to be escorted out of the cage because he could not walk, and they had to end the fight. They called it a no contest. Mm-hmm. But something me and you were discussing before, we want to bring it to the audience. They say that it's a no contest because he didn't intentionally hit the guy in the cup. But our point is, how did you ever say that someone intentionally went for it? Like, how would you ever be able to prove that? Like, it doesn't, the whole idea, the concept doesn't really make sense to me on this front.
I think going off your topic is a great transition into the next dick kick no contest of the night.
Oh, God.
On the main card between Raymond Daniels and Peter Stananik. And I believe Raymond Daniels was the one throwing the kicks. Am I right? Against Peter Stananik with a beard?
I got to pull it up. I'm not sure yet.
But yeah, so that one is, I mean, if you can't prove intent on that one, intent isn't provable. He threw the exact same move twice in a row. He's spinning back kick into his opponent's kick to get him like right in the dick as his leg was getting lifted up.
Yeah, and they didn't say it was intentional. But if you do it twice, you should be disqualified. Move. Why is that not a disqualification?
I agree, especially if you get the warning at first. Like, yeah, you did this once. Please stop this. This is an issue.
Okay, so we know this is a problem. It happens all the time, and sometimes it changes the tide of a fight. I've seen guys get KO'd before after they get hit, but they want to like tough it out. They're like, no, I can do it. They fight. The other guy comes guns blazing, and they're knocked out 2 seconds later. So as ways to fix this, they're supposedly wearing steel cups. So we have apparently the best cup technology in the world. We cannot stop this from happening. A thought I had was the guy that gets hit in the nuts hits the other guy in the nuts. Just 1 for 1, an eye for an eye. Or we wear cups that like somehow reciprocate the pain and break your foot or your knee or whatever that comes to hit it. But there has to be some, or you just immediately take away a point, intentional or otherwise, because we know we don't have a way to judge if it's intentional or not. And these fighters should know to avoid this. I understand they're in a fight, crazy stuff happens, but they shouldn't get off scot-free for doing it. Is what my whole point of this. There should be some kind of repercussion. If that means taking off a point, they should be taken off a point.
I completely agree with you. I think every time it happens, same with eye pokes, honestly, it should be a point taken away because like there's nothing you can do. Like what are you gonna do? Like make him like if you give both fighters a break. So while like the fresh fighter is becoming even fresher, well the damaged one's just trying to get back to normal. You know what I mean? There's no way to even that out unless you make like if you like dick kick someone, you have to do like jumping jacks during the break.
Dude, this is why we need machines. They need to calculate exactly how hard he got hit and then hit the other guy exactly as hard.
Like bring out the nut tracker.
This is the
time.
technology we're looking forward to in MMA, people.
So I was thinking about cup technology, and I was wondering if like they can get the cup and like fill it with some kind of like impact foam. You know what I mean? Just like freshly foam you up before your fight. So it's like, you know, it's pressed against everything.
No, I know what you mean.
To keep you safe.
Because like I'm sure it hurts on the actual genital area, but it must hurt like around it with where the lining of the cup is. It must like indent into you or something.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that's absolutely what's happening. I think you got to spread the pressure out more. I mean, think about it. Like even if you get hit like right on the belt line, like right in like the bladder and the pubic area, you know what I mean? That's crushing.
Yeah. So the only thought I have is in hockey, for instance, goalies, they wear like a huge like chastity belt cup thing.
Right.
And I get that would limit your mobility in MMA, but there has to be something better than what we have now. There has to be something else. So yeah, that's our question to you guys. What do you think we should do about this? I think every week we're going to be going over a new MMA rule that we just think is stupid. And as average Joe's MMA fans, we want to fix because it just doesn't make sense in the sport we love.
Kicks and all those fouls and stuff are like they're a detriment to the sport. You know what I mean? You don't want to be seeing fights end like that. You don't want to be seeing that happen to people if you can avoid it.
Yeah, but do you agree? Like, although it's not intentional, if you know you're not going to be penalized, you're not going to try to avoid it. You're not going to do anything to intentionally not do it. But if I say, all right, you're going to lose a whole point, and if this goes to a decision, that's a huge loss for you. You may think twice about throwing that kick. That might be close. Or that knee, that's probably too close.